Hi, and greetings from a remote place in Norway. My name is Artem, and before coming here to study, I have been living in a much less remote and much more heavily industrialized area in eastern Ukraine for the 16 years of my life. As any citizen of an industrialized city, I have experienced problem of air pollution firsthand. So, I have been actively engaged in this field for the last 5 years of my life, researching the underlying causes of problems, equally working with politics and science. One thing that I got out of it is that the problems of ecological degradation are inexorably linked to the power struggles, and specifically concept of justice. Thus, I will try to persuade you that the idea of ecojustice is important, and you personally can contribute to it. First things first, we are going to define what we are talking about when we are talking about ecojustice. The definition of ecojustice is contested, leave alone the numerous interpretations of implementations of it in real life. There are some points of implementation that, in my opinion, strongly relate to ecojustice, such as holding all the guilty parties of negative ecological effects accountable. It's justice in its negative, punishing sense. Then defining the equity of restorative measures that should be taken. Positive justice, which actively aims at solving the problem. And showing the world the real situation of soon irreversible ecological catastrophe, which is an educational effect of justice. If the eco-justice is so hard to define, might it be just one of the ephemeral concepts that we would never need in real life? My answer is no. There are several real-life effects that successful inclusion of eco-justice provides to us, such as preventing further degradation via conservation measures, reconciling the victims of ecological degradation with loss, and educating people about the negative environmental effects they might be causing or tolerating. The problem that I have seen a lot while talking about eco-justice with people around the world is the avoidance of responsibility. While arguing about who should be a watchdog of eco-justice, we forget the painful implications of degradation in our real life. Therefore, I claim that responsibility to maintain eco-justice lies not only on NGOs, IGOs, or our governments, but primarily on us, as conscious people who are capable of changing the game. People are the ones who could claim eco-justice. We should be empowered by successful examples of climate strikes that convey powerful messages, active work of NGOs, or international measures taken, but still remember our personal responsibility as citizens of the planet Earth. Therefore, I propose to take our responsibility on the next level. I claim that transparency effectively equals accountability, which is in turn a cornerstone of justice. Therefore, I propose a slightly different approach to eco-justice. The assumption behind my approach is the belief that humans can provide evidence for climate injustice and share it with people all over the world. We need evidence to accuse the culprits and seek for justice. The more, the better. How does a transparent and rich pool of evidence that might lead to accountability, which is the first step of justice, how does it sound? Is it possible to attain? Let's think about it. I believe that people are stronger as a community. Taking into account that the problems of ecological degradation very rarely pertain to a single person, but rather affect us as a community, I think that active involvement of ordinary people is a very important point of transparency in this case. We can do it by connecting people in a single system using the novelties of IoT sector. How? I'll talk about it later. By doing this, we can show that personal input matters. The main idea of my approach is to fuse many small chip sensors to monitor any ecological factor into one system. The data from the sensors can be shared to provide independent monitoring. The system is called Breathum. You can see the diagram of how the system works on the slide. Basically, lots of small sensors are fused into one data collector. that encrypts data and transfers data to the server, where it is decrypted and added to the system. People can share their data, and this presents us lots of advantages that could help us in ecojustice, in attaining ecojustice. As I said, there are several technological advantages to the proposed approach, such as independence of the data. There is no way data can be influenced by anybody, which in some sense might lead to transparency. The data is transparent because we know where it comes from, and it's all fused into one system. But what about precision? Can these small sensors be precise enough? Yes, they can. You can fuse any sensor into the system and then share it with others. It allows opportunity for NGOs and government to also participate in the scheme, allowing people to use their sensors as tools for monitoring. What about the concept of fairness? We can see where data comes from, and if we place enough sensors, if we cover the area with enough sensors, we can be sure that this area is analyzed fairly by comparing the data from different sensors. Thus, it allows us to implement loss correction system and get the real situation, which is a cornerstone of ecojustice, as I said. However, there are some things we need to consider in the implementation of the system, such as there are still ways to corrupt the sensor, and there might be much more prevalent false data. However, we are still depending on conscious people, and we believe that we are in majority. All in all, I believe that ecological justice pertains to everybody, both personally and through the community where I live. I have discussed my take on personal justice and my contribution to it. What is your contribution to ecojustice? I think that you should think about it before it's too late.